And you see when you slow it down, you can see him come out of his hips and show power on the tackle when he knocks the crap out of that tailback right there.
Hey Browns fans, welcome into another edition of the Browns Breakdowns. And today we're joined by Browns defensive line coach Chris Kiffin to take a look at our third-round pick, Alex Wright, the defensive end out of the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Coach, he was a guy who was very productive in a very productive college defense down there at UAB. What stood out about Alex Wright to you when you watched him, and what made you excited to get him here to Cleveland?
Well, the first thing that jumps off the tape is his size-speed ratio. You know, this is a big guy that's playing out on the edge. And for us, that's really a scheme fit. We look for guys like that, you know, that obviously have explosiveness, but size and length. To be able to set the edge, that's what we need him to do first. And then he's got the ability to move inside, rush inside. He's just getting started learning how to rush outside. So obviously 21 years old, for us to get him in the third round, somebody we're really excited about.
A guy who's still growing into his body. He's grown tremendously since he enrolled at college. And we're going to turn on the tape now, go into the film room, and look at some of the big plays from Alex Wright that led Coach Kiffin to be so excited about this defensive end prospect. All right, here we are in the film room, and we're going to start. Listen, we want to see him rush the passer. We're going to see that. But you've got to be able to play the run. I know in our scheme it's important when you talk about being the big end in our defense. That's something that you've got to be able to do. And here against Georgia, team obviously very talented right there, national champions. Here's an opportunity to see him against elite competition.
Yep, and here you go. You see a big-sized defensive end here. First thing you can tell is his size when you're watching the tape, getting ready to draft a guy like this. They got him standing up as a 9 technique, crashing in, but you just see the athleticism, playing the cut block of the tight end here to keep his feet, stay off the cut, and then finish on the tackle right here. And you see when you slow it down, you can see him come out of his hips and show power on the tackle when he knocks the crap out of that tailback right there.
And it almost looks like, you talk about the power as you go back, when he kind of slips the first cut block, he almost bumps these other two guys out of the way so he can make the play. So there's going to be a little elbow there and then goes in there and makes the play.
No doubt. We love seeing that on tape. We call that play demeanor. You know, how aggressive, how physical, how violent. Do they love football? All that stuff pops off the tape.
And you see it right there against, as we said, good competition. All right, as we see here on this next play, now they don't do a good job offensively of preventing him from making a play, but I feel like it's the speed. And we've talked about the size, the power, the physicality you said that he showed on that run play against Georgia. Here's just how quickly he can get to the mesh point and make a big play, forcing a fumble.
Absolutely. You see on tape here, they got something going with what maybe we call a mesh charge, where you run the defensive end right at the mesh. But yeah, you see how big he is and how quick he gets upfield, affecting the play. Obviously, the quarterback has no time to actually read and make a decision here. And again, just a big defensive end that can fire off quickly, make plays, gives us tools like this to be able to do stuff like this when you're playing Lamar Jackson type offense, things like that. You know, we saw that he fits with what we like to do.
You know what I like about the end of it? So he gets in there, he forces the fumble, and then they're almost like a blocking sled. He takes two of them out of there so his team's able to go and get the football.
Absolutely. Look at him celebrate with his teammates. He's fired up.
And you like that, right, when they show a little emotion?
Absolutely.
All right, and then you talked about earlier, in our scheme, often on third downs, we'll go with 3 defensive ends, which means one of them plays inside. We've seen Miles do it effectively. We've seen Clowney do it effectively. And you mentioned at the top, Alex Wright showed in college the ability to rush from the inside. And you're going to see it right here. He's going to beat basically 3 different guys.
Yeah, you mentioned it. You know, you want to be able to have the ability with defensive ends to move them inside, because usually that's going to be a mismatch, a pass rushing DN versus a bigger offensive guard. And he's shown the capability to do that. And this is really a play that fired us up as a staff. When you see this, just the natural pass rush ability. We call this one bounce footwork, where he's going to go 2 steps and really get that guard to kick, open up the A-gap for himself, and now go tight bags, beat the guard, beat the center, and really just looks unblockable and unstoppable right here as he finishes the play against Florida Atlantic.
When you have a guy that big, that nimble, and you can tell these guys inside not as nimble, when he can do that, does that kind of get your mind going, okay, there's a lot of things we can do with this guy in our defense?
Absolutely. That's why in the draft process, you know, when they ask my opinion, we move a guy like that up for us, because for him to have the ability to do that, slide inside, again, that's a mismatch. And when you have Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney outside and, you know, get to mix him in with some other defense tackles rushing inside, it just gives us a lot of possibilities in there.
All right, so this is why you were excited to draft him. Well, now he's been here. We got a couple of weeks of OTAs under our belts already. What have you seen from Alex now that he's gotten here to the Cross Country Mortgage campus?
Yeah, he's just excited to be here. He's hungry. He's ready to learn, ready to work. He knows he's not a polished product. He's a rookie. He's young. He's got to learn. Only 21 years old. But again, just for us to be able to get him here, start working on what he needs to look like in our scheme, what that looks like day-to-day drills, sharpening his tools and pass rush. He's been willing to work and showing up every single day with a great attitude.
Is this the kind of ball of clay that gets you excited? Because it is a unique combination of size. I mean, the guy got recruited as a tight end to certain places. So he's fluid, he can move, but yet he has the size and the power, as you showed there, to maybe become something special.
Absolutely. A guy like this, if you can't make him right as a coach, you need to look for another occupation.
All right. Well, I know you can do that without any question there. Alex Wright, now a Cleveland Brown. You saw why they're excited about him, and I think you're going to see why the Browns are very excited to have him on the field come this fall. Thanks for watching another edition of the Browns Breakdowns.